Final joint resolution is ready to be debated in the European Parliament today on India's citizenship law, which has been put forward by 560 of the Parliament's 751 members of Parliament. The resolution deems India's Citizenship Amendment Act, or the CAA, as discriminatory and dangerously divisive, quote-unquote. A vote on the resolution is likely to take place tomorrow. The resolution put up by 5 different groups of members of Parliament, namely the Renew Group, the European United Left, Nordic Green Left, the European People's Party Group, the Progressive Alliance of Socialist and Democratic Group, and the Greens Europe and Free Alliance Group. 6 resolutions on the law were submitted to the Parliament for discussion, but the 66-member Europeans Conservatives and Reformists group pulled out, bringing the total number of members of European Parliament backing the resolution from the earlier 626 to now 560. There are 751 members in total. The resolution calls on the Government of India to engage with various sections of the population in peaceful dialogue and repeal what it calls the discriminatory amendments, which violate, as it claims, India's international obligations. It warns against increasing nationalism, which has resulted in the fueling of religious intolerance and discrimination against Muslims, quote-unquote. The members of Parliament expressed concern that the National Register of Citizens, or NRC, an exercise aimed at identifying illegal immigrants, marks a dangerous shift in the way that citizenship will be determined in India and may create a large-scale statelessness crisis and cause immense human suffering. All of that is stated. The resolution also says the protests that broke out around India, particularly on university campuses in response to the adoption of the CAA, were met with a brutal crackdown by security forces, quote-unquote. Shutting down internet communications, the resolution says, is a violation of the fundamental right to access information. The resolution also makes a specific reference to the arrest of human rights activists like Akhil Gogoi and Sadaf Jafar. The European Union distanced itself from the resolutions moved in the EU Parliament, saying that the opinions expressed by the EU Parliament and its members do not reflect the official stance of the 28-member political and economic union. On Sunday, Indian officials said the CAA is an internal matter of India and that the law was passed by India's democratically elected parliament. The government has also denied emphatically that the law is discriminatory and says it only seeks to fast-track citizenship for persecuted minorities. European Parliament resolutions do not affect the decisions of the European Council or the European Commission, but the timing is significant here, with Prime Minister Modi set to visit Brussels in March for an India-EU summit. And our correspondent Lucy Hoof is now joining us live from Brussels for more on that. Hi, Lucy. If you can begin by sharing with us the expected timings and the schedule that will be followed and what is expected, procedurally speaking, over the next few hours.
Well, this is a debate that will be happening in the European Parliament in a few hours' time. It will last an hour. It will start with an opening statement from the EU's High Representative, its Foreign Affairs Chief, Josep Borrell. Then MEPs will stand up and make their case for why this motion should be passed, why this joint resolution should be passed. The vote will then take place tomorrow on Thursday. This is, as you say, a joint resolution put forward by 5 political groups, that number now at 560 of the total 751 total MEPs in the European Parliament. They are expressing concern, as you were saying there, about an amendment that is discriminatory and dangerously divisive. That's what they say about the CAA. But as you were saying, this is the EU's foreign policy spokesperson has been clear to distance themselves from this. They say that this is a matter for the European Parliament. It does not reflect the official position of the European Union, but also awkward timing with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi set to visit Brussels in March for a UK-India summit.
Yeah, I was just coming to that, Lucy. The European Union distancing itself from the resolutions moved in the EU Parliament. What more can we share with our viewers on that front? What are the reactions that have come in so far?
Well, first, I'll give you a bit more information about what is in this joint resolution. The European Parliament deeply regrets the adoption and implementation of the CAA, which it describes as discriminatory and dangerously divisive. It's calling on the government to repeal and to engage in dialogue. It's talking of a dangerous increase in nationalism that is increasing intolerance and discrimination, particularly against the Muslim population. But the Indian government on Sunday released a statement. It said that this legislation was due to a democratic process in India, that this is a matter for the government, and it is calling for the EU Parliament to not intervene in democracy and public debate in India. But as I say, the EU has a spokesperson for the Foreign Council for Foreign Affairs says that this is not the official position of the EU, as I say, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi expected to visit Brussels in a month's time.
Right, we're going to leave it there for the moment. Lucy, thanks very much for those updates on the latest. We'll, of course, keep coming back to you as and when further updates trickle in. US President Donald Trump's visit to India has been on the cards for quite some time now. And now, as per the latest reports, Donald Trump will be visiting India between the 24th and the 26th of February. The dates, however, are to be formally announced. This will be Trump's first visit to India since taking charge as president in 2017. The visit from Trump comes in as India and the US look to sign a trade deal. This visit could just see the months-long negotiations fructifying into a bilateral deal. If the deal comes through, this would add another trade deal for Donald Trump to showcase as he launches his re-election campaign. The visit from Trump also comes as President Trump is facing an impeachment trial back home. It's also a visit coming after almost 4 months after Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the United States to attend the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. This will be the first visit by an American president to India since Barack Obama's visit way back in January 2015. Obama was invited, remember, as the chief guest for the Republic Day celebrations by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, has been tracking the very latest. The dates are to be formally announced, but a report suggesting a lot that is on the table, Siddhant. The trade deal, of course, which has been under negotiation for months now, and the visit will come at a very significant time for Donald Trump, who is headed for a re-election campaign.
Well, it will be, of course, a significant visit. The fact that a U.S. president goes to a country, it is always a major story. But talking about the expected visit, as we know, it's officially not announced, but a strong buzz both in Washington and New Delhi that he's likely to visit India, specifically New Delhi, towards the end of February. We also know that New Delhi has requested him to go to Ahmedabad for a Howdy Modi-like event. As of now, no planning is taking place in Gujarat, and the Americans still have to give an official nod for a Gujarat visit. But it will be important and very fruitful for US President Donald Trump if he goes to Gujarat and does a Howdy Modi-like event, given the fact that it's an election year in the United States, and that can boost his chances, especially in the Indian Gujarati diaspora, the Patels in the United States. But talking about the key deliverables, it will be trade. We do expect the U.S. Commerce Secretary to also visit, and of course, a trade deal is obviously a good thing for New Delhi, but also is a good thing for the U.S. President Donald Trump to tout during his campaigning, because we know already he's touting about an expected deal with the Chinese and with New Delhi also on board. This will be a big booster for his campaign, because he has been talking about bad trade deals in this previous US administration, and this could really help him during his entire campaign. But by and large, a significant visit, a visit that India was very keen on, because it's been almost 5 years since the last US President Barack Obama visited India, and of course US President Donald Trump has never visited India, despite both the countries talking about the strong relationship, both working on the Indo-Pacific concept, and his visit, of course, will be a strong message as well to China.
Leaving it there for the moment, Siddhant. Appreciate your joining us with those inputs and details. Moving on.